Iowa, 1912. A quiet family goes to sleep. By morning, 8 people are dead, killed with their own axe. The killer was never found. Villisca, Iowa. A small, peaceful farming town. On Sunday evening, June 9, 1912, Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah took their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and 5-year-old Paul, to a Children's Day service at the local Presbyterian church. After the service, 2 young sisters, Lena and Ina Stillinger, came home with them for a sleepover. It was an ordinary night in an ordinary house. Nobody locked their doors in Villisca back then, there was no reason to. By midnight, everyone in the house was asleep. What happened next would haunt this small town for over a century. Sometime after midnight, someone entered the Moore house. He carried an axe. He took an oil lamp from a nearby table and turned the wick down low, just enough light to see by, not enough to be noticed from outside. Silently, he made his way up the stairs. He seemed to know exactly where he was going, every room, every turn, as if he had studied the house before. Josiah and Sarah were asleep in the upstairs bedroom. The killer struck Josiah first. Then Sarah. Neither of them ever woke up. The killer moved into the next room, where the 4 more children were sleeping. One by one, he attacked them the same way, in their sleep, with brutal force. Then he went back downstairs, into the guest room where the 2 Stillinger sisters were staying. Lena and Ina never had a chance to wake up either. In total, 8 people were dead. 6 of them were children. And the killer wasn't finished yet. In a detail that still chills investigators today, the killer went back upstairs and attacked the bodies of Josiah and Sarah again, striking Josiah so many times his face became unrecognizable. Then, just as strangely, he covered every mirror in the house with cloth, a custom usually reserved for funerals. He covered some of the victims' faces too. Then he simply left. No signs of robbery. Nothing taken. No clear motive at all. Just 8 bodies, a bloody axe left behind, and a killer who vanished into the night. The next morning, a neighbor grew worried when no one from the Moore house came outside. She found the front door locked from the inside and alerted the family next door. When they went in, they discovered the horror themselves. Word spread through Villisca within hours. By the time police arrived, dozens of townspeople had already walked through the crime scene, moving furniture, touching walls, completely destroying any chance of preserving real evidence. In 1912, there were no forensic labs, no fingerprint databases, nothing close to modern investigation tools. The case was doomed from almost the very first morning. Suspicion in a small town spreads fast. Investigators looked at Reverend George Kelly, a traveling minister with a strange history, who had been in town that night. Under intense interrogation, Kelly eventually signed a confession. But he recanted almost immediately, claiming it had been forced out of him. He stood trial twice. The first trial ended in a hung jury. The second ended in a full acquittal. Kelly walked free. The case against him fell apart completely. Other suspects emerged over the years. A powerful Iowa state senator was accused by rumor alone, his political career destroyed simply by whispers and public suspicion, though payroll records proved he'd been working hundreds of miles away that night. Investigators also began looking at a theory involving a traveling serial killer, someone who may have committed similar axe murders in other towns across the country using the same method, an axe and a lamp turned low. But no solid connection was ever convened. Private detectives were hired. Political careers were made and broken over this single case. Legislation was even passed in Iowa in response, helping create the state's first real criminal investigation bureau. But after years of hearings, trials, and theories, not a single person was ever convicted. The Moore House still stands in Villisca today, preserved almost exactly as it was in 1912, a quiet, haunting reminder of a case that was never solved. Over 100 years later, the Villisca Axe Murders remain one of America's oldest unsolved mass murders. 8 people, 2 adults and 6 children, killed in their sleep, for no motive anyone could ever prove. Whoever held that axe walked out of that house and disappeared completely into history. And to this day, nobody knows who they were.